Hey guys, I want to talk to you about a staple that I've used consistently whilst being a vegetarian, and in particular as being a bodybuilder, I've incorporated it a lot more into my diet, and it's using tofu. And a lot of people that aren't vegetarians or not used to the taste kind of screw their face up and think, oh, tofu, and they've had a bad experience somewhere along the lines. So what I want to do is just clear up some of the best ways to cook it and prepare it, make it taste good, and also, you know, explain some of the benefits that it has as an overall staple in becoming a bodybuilder. Okay, so tofu is about 14% protein, about 5% carbohydrates, and I've picked a low-calorie one, which is only 2% fat. Generally, soybeans are a bit higher in fat, but these guys have been able to extract it out there, so it's a lower calorie form of tofu. Of course, it's organic, which I recommend if you've got the choice. So where does tofu actually come from? Well, it comes from the soybean. So what they actually do is they separate the milk, similar to how they do milk, where they separate the curds from the whey. It's actually soybean curd. And so what they do is they separate the curd out, and they use a piece of plastic to push it down, and it's just a weight, and it compresses it, so you end up with this firm compound, which is just soybean curd. Okay, so tofu on its own is a little bit bland, so you're going to need to infuse some flavours in there, because it actually just takes on the flavours of whatever you cook it with. Because I'm dieting right now for my next season of competitions, I like to incorporate some herbs that have actually got a real beneficial aspect to them when I'm dieting. So first of all, I'll use cayenne pepper, which immediately speeds up your metabolism. It's fantastic for your heart. And I'll also use turmeric, which is protects your liver and your heart as well. They also add in some flavours. I'll also use chili and garlic as well. And I'll show you the best way to get those flavours in there, and then cook the tofu so it doesn't end up dry and ends up tasting really good. Okay, so I've just boiled some water. Just going to open the tofu and break it apart and put it into the bowl. I've never used this one before. Okay, I'm going to start breaking it up in the pan now. Yeah. Just breaks apart really nicely. Have it whichever consistency that you like. That for me is perfect. Okay, so the herbs I'm going to put in it: turmeric, garlic, chili, cayenne pepper, and some ground up chilies as well. Okay. For me, it's all about flavouring the food without adding in excess calories, sugars and fats that my body doesn't want when I'm trying to get in competition shape. So what I've chosen here is a bunch of herbs that are going to actually speed up my metabolism, help my overall health, and at the same time they're adding in no calories, so I know exactly what I'm getting with my food. Cayenne pepper. Garlic. Okay, so I've just put enough in there that I'm used to. I actually like a bit of spice in the food, so I put a fair bit in there. Just experiment and see what works for you. Okay, so next just add in the boiling water. Now you want to add enough just to submerge the tofu. You don't want to actually pour too much more in than about that. Okay, and you just want to give it a stir and get all those flavours through. Okay, so the purpose of the water was to infuse the herbs into the tofu using the boiling water, and also to cook it with. So I'm not a big fan of cooking with oils if I can avoid it, particularly when I'm trying to work out exactly what my body's needing in terms of energy. And when you're throwing in, you know, oil into the pan, you're not really counting that when you're looking at how much you should be eating per day. So it's really important for me just to try and avoid it altogether, and this is a great way of doing it. The way to cook this, once you've poured all that in, is just stir it around a little bit and just wait for the water to actually cook out of it. So the moment that it becomes a little bit dry, the water's disappeared, it's ready. So it's really easy just to know when it's done. So you can just stir it around a little bit. You want it on a heat that the water is basically boiling, and you know, it'll cook really evenly, and all those flavours will be infused in there. I used to write diets out for people. I used to have family and friends all ask me about becoming vegetarian or vegan, and they asked me to write out diet plans for them. But what was happening is I saw them and they still weren't implementing what I was telling them, so they were still going home and just reverting back to eating what they knew, and it wasn't really working for them. So I guess that's why I've decided to do this. I really wanted to teach people what you need to do practically in the kitchen to translate the idea of being a vegetarian or vegan and bodybuilding into the results that you're looking for. So, am I trying to sell you something? Absolutely. I used to charge around, $150 to write out a training and diet program for people. And, it still wasn't happening for them. So what I'm trying to do here is show you the missing link between looking at what you should be doing, which is eating well, and actually how to put it into practical application. So, how you're going to make this stuff work for you in real life. Alright, check it out. It's cooking really nicely here. It smells amazing. There's no excess calories, sugars, fats, things I don't need as a bodybuilder in there. And, the health benefits for incorporating some of those herbs in there are just fantastic. And, one of the common complaints about tofu is it's dry. So cooking it with the water, it takes all the dryness out. I mean, it's really quite moist when you eat it, and it makes it really easy to eat as well. Alright, check it out. This is done now. I'm just going to turn the pan off, put it in a container. This is for tomorrow, so I'm prepared as you should be, and it's going to be really easy to reheat. See how that reduces down?
Yeah.
It's quite amazing, really. Okay, so the tofu is all cooked for tomorrow. It took me like 10 minutes to do. It's got a heap of protein in there. It tastes really good. A lot of health benefits. And I know you can do it as well. So what I'm trying to teach you is how easy it is to eat healthy and, still stick to being a vegetarian or vegan and become a bodybuilder.